Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into a really cool moment from Demon Slayer, where the story splits into two completely different battles happening at the exact same time. On one side, you've got this mind-bending, strategic fight against a demon who can literally change reality. And on the other, a raw, emotional test of loyalty and pure guts. Let's get right into it. This one line, it's pretty much the emotional heart of this whole thing. It's a promise made through tears and pain, a statement about trust that completely overpowers fear. But to really get why these words hit so hard and who's saying them, we gotta go back to where it all started, inside a very, very strange house. So our heroes are in what's known as the Tsuzumi Mansion. And, it's not your average haunted house. This place is a living trap. With every beat of a drum, rooms flip, hallways rotate, and everything gets rearranged. It's designed to split people up and throw them off their game. And, well, it works like a charm. And that split creates two totally different battlegrounds. Inside, we have Tanjiro. He's already hurt, and now he's all alone, face-to-face with the demon in charge. But at the same time, Zenitsu's been launched clear out of the house, and he's got one simple but incredibly important job: protect that mysterious box Tanjiro carries with his life. So who's the one pulling the strings in this chaotic house? Meet Kyogai, the drum demon. Now, his motivation is actually pretty desperate. See, he used to be one of the 12 Kizuki. That's the absolute elite of the demon world, but he got kicked out for not being strong enough. His whole goal now is to consume a special human to claw his way back to the top. This isn't just a random fight for him, it's personal. But to really understand Kyogai, to get what's driving all this rage, you have to look at who he was when he was human. And it all boils down to this one question. What happens when an artist's passion is completely crushed? The answer is, well, it's actually kind of tragic. And wow, there it is, the source of all his pain. As a human, Kyogai was a writer. And these words, they weren't just a bad review. They were a total takedown of his entire identity, his passion. This one brutal rejection became the ghost that's haunted him ever since, fueling every bit of his demonic ambition. So how does he fight? He uses his blood demon art. Think of it like a demon's unique superpower. And for Kyogai, his human hobby, drumming, has been twisted into this terrifying weapon. By hitting the drums embedded in his body, he can spin the rooms, mess with gravity, and launch these insane invisible claw attacks. Okay, so while all of that's going on inside, let's jump to the fight happening outside. Zenitsu is now facing his own demons. And I mean that both literally and figuratively. He is famously a coward, but we're about to see something else entirely. A side of him that is fiercely, unbelievably loyal. And this right here is the central contradiction of Zenitsu's entire character. On the outside, he's a mess. Crying, screaming, looks totally spineless. But his actions tell a completely different story. A story about a resolve that is rock solid. So why? Why is he so loyal to Tanjiro? It all comes down to his incredible gift. He has superhuman hearing. I mean, he can literally hear the sound of a person's soul, their true nature. And the sound he hears from Tanjiro is one of pure kindness, something so gentle it moves him to tears. That sound is the bedrock of his trust. And that brings us to the ultimate test of his faith, because that same amazing hearing tells him something terrifying. The thing in the box is a demon. The one thing he fears more than anything in the world. But his trust in that kind sound from Tanjiro is stronger than his own terror, so he protects it. He doesn't even need to ask why. All right, let's swing back inside to Tanjiro's fight. He's getting overwhelmed, he's getting thrown around, and he has this moment where he realizes that just trying harder isn't going to cut it. He has to switch gears from pure grit to cold, hard strategy. You can almost hear the gears turning in his head. This is him talking to himself, forcing a moment of calm in the middle of chaos. He knows he can't win this by just being tough. He has to be smart. He has to analyze, adapt, and overcome. And just to show you the difference, while Tanjiro is playing 40 chess in his head, what's happening outside? This. The boar-headed guy attacking Zenitsu doesn't care about strategy. It's all about brute force, pure aggression. Just a simple, blunt demand to fight. So how did Tanjiro actually pull it off? He started layering his skills. First, he used his incredible sense of smell to sniff out the moldy scent of the claw attacks right before they happened. Then he used his breathing techniques to power through the pain of his broken bones. And finally, he changed his footwork, learning how to move in a room that wouldn't stop spinning. All of that together let him finally see it, the opening thread, his one shot to end it. And it works. He lands the perfect strike. But, as you know with Demon Slayer, defeating the enemy is almost never the end of the story. It's about what happens in those final moments. This right here, this is what makes Tanjiro so special. As his enemy is literally disintegrating, he doesn't gloat, he offers him respect. He acknowledges the demon's power, his art. He sees the human that was once there. It's this radical empathy that just defines the whole series. And in his final moments, because of Tanjiro's compassion, the rejected writer finally gets the one thing he always wanted, someone to tell him that his work, his art, was incredible. Kyogai dies not in a rage, but in peace. His soul is finally validated. The battle inside is over, but Tanjiro doesn't even get a second to breathe. He steps out of that twisted mansion and walks right into the aftermath of Zenitsu's brutal fight. The danger is far from over. And this is what he sees.
Zenitsu is an absolute mess, beaten and bruised. But he did it. He took the beating, he faced his fear, and he protected the thing Tanjiro entrusted him with. The box is safe. The coward proved he's anything but.
Which leaves us here, with this tense standoff. You've got Tanjiro, who just won, but is seriously injured. You've got Zenitsu, who's battered but not broken. And facing them is the boar-headed Slayer, who is just pure, unrelenting aggression. The demon is gone, but a brand new, very human conflict is just kicking off. And all of this leaves us with a pretty heavy question to chew on, right? We just watched a demon find peace because of empathy, while a so-called hero seems to only understand violence. It really makes you wonder, what's the true definition of a monster? Thanks for tuning into this explainer.